May I request Mr. Gilbert Rodrigo to take the floor, please?
Good morning. I would see that the impact of the natural disasters would have three main, and global warming would have three main consequences. One is the rising of the sea level, the second one is the warming up of the sea, and the third is the change in the climate and seasons. With this rising of the sea level, we could expect a lot more of coastal erosion. The coastal communities will lose their seafront that is needed to keep the boats, nets, and the women would lose their drying spaces. This will create a lot of occupational hazard, and it's an economic problem. In some places, even houses are already disappearing, which were in the seafront. More houses could disappear. In the cases of coastal lands sandwiched between sea on the one side and backwaters on the other, like in the cases in many places in Kerala, we can expect the land to be submerged and become one large area of shallow waters. All inhabitants in the region between the backwaters and the sea will be forced to outmigrate. It is expected that the sea level will rise up to 2 meters, as the experts are saying. There are many islands that are less than 2 meters on height in our coast disappear. And all those rare species that are there and the people who are depending on the livelihood from them would also be affected. The low-lying areas are primarily rich wetlands and marshy lands. The wetlands where agriculture is happening would disappear, rendering coastal farmers out of their jobs. The marshy lands are good breeding grounds for fishes, prawns, and crab. Their multiplication will be reduced. The poor fisher people, mostly from Dalit communities who go, women who go catch prawn with their hands, they will lose their job. The mangrove forest, which grow in such low-lying marshy and bar-mouth areas of the rivers, which function as barriers of sea wrath and breeding grounds for many rare species, would disappear. And again, the rare resource will be lost for the small-scale fisher communities. Coming to the warming of the sea warmth will destroy the coral reefs. They are the insulation against heavy movement of the sea current. They also work as breeding grounds for many species of fishes. The ecology will suffer a great and a setback will be found, and we should be prepared for such worse natural disasters if the global sea warming continues. Some fishes live by eating smaller organisms that grow around the coral reefs. There are many predating fishes that move around that area to feed them. Now, both fish varieties will disappear. There are fishes which do not like the warmth, so they would move into further deep seas. Say, for example, we hear that oil sardines which were found around the Goa Sea is now moving towards Gujarat. So some fishermen for some time may get a new variety, but the people who had been enjoying it will lose. Some species of fish could be totally extinct, as they are not able to withstand the heat of the sea and is not able to move to deeper seas. We should expect massive death of small varieties, floating all of a sudden in millions. Some unwanted species could increase. We hear that peta was coming in huge numbers in Kerala seas. Predators such as shark can move to shallow waters. That's another danger there. Human damage and difficulties due to them could increase. And talking of climate change, raining season could change, and breeding times of fishes could also change accordingly. This confusion could result in disappearance of some species, as their predators are also confused. Flooding in the rivers could be erratic. The floods in the river are important to bring the nutrients to the sea so that the fishes can survive. the flood could bring more mud than nutrients. The nutrients due to higher temperature during the long summers can die in the rivers themselves. So we won't have nutrients arriving in the sea. Due to the hot weather followed by the heavy rains, the soil could become loose and would get carried to the river. And we already see that on the days of the rains, the intensity of the rain is heavy now. This will lead to inundation of some islands. Not without saying what happened in last November in Chennai, where the whole city was submerged. In areas where the coast lies in lowlands or between backwaters and the sea, the area could be totally submerged and become temporarily one stretch of salty water. The settlement of coastal communities can suffer a lot because of this. Such inundation can be breeding ground for many new diseases. It could also become a ground for intensification of certain existing diseases. It may result in increased infant and female mortality. The climate change itself could be good enough reason for increasing of some of the pests and microorganisms, unwanted and dangerous weeds, and development of new species of pests and microorganisms. This can become the ground for emergence of new diseases. For some time, the advantage may be that some fish varieties can increase or can be found close shore often. But this is, thus the fishermen may be able to get some better catches. However, this will only be a temporary phenomenon and should not be taken as a great advantage of climate change. Weighing with the other demerits and adverse impacts, the advantage will be immaterial and irrelevant. The Indian fisher communities should be prepared to recognize and take action. The coordination among the existing fisher panchayat system should be encouraged. The fisher community panchayats have their own very democratic ways of making decisions, and they have the coordination at the district level, barring certain few areas. So we must encourage them to be involved in the planning and implementation of any plan that we make. When it comes to man-made disasters, unlike Chernobyl, it is coming over a period of time. The long-standing adverse impact is on the coastal fisher communities. Therefore, even before even having a basic plan made for any intervention on the coast, be it an institution or a resort or whatever, the fisher communities of not just that village or taluk alone, but the fishers of the neighboring coastal districts should also be consulted through properly informed public consultation, well in time, and providing the documents in the local language well in time. Because this is not what's happening in the normal public hearings. There should be a mechanism to take the complaint of the fisher communities on any presently operating institutions on the coast regarding violations found. And that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.